Chris, do you know, like when we go live like this, does it send out a notification even on YouTube to subscribers?
I believe that's gonna have to do with any YouTube settings you have, but
Okay.
I think it does.
Okay, I'll have to check that.
I mean, I know it shows the notifications on Facebook.
Okay.
Let me see here. Oops. I wonder if I'm a subscriber.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So it shows, I mean, you immediately came up as being live right now, but there was no kind of like, there was no
Abraham
pop-up or
says,
anything.
okay, well, Abraham says he got a notification via YouTube. Thank you for letting us know that. That's great.
Oh, cool.
I just didn't know how that worked. But maybe it's a YouTube setting that you have to have something turned on personally that you get notifications.
That little bell.
Oh, okay. Oh,
it's that little bell on the home page of the channel. So you can subscribe, but then you have to subscribe with notifications.
To notifications. Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm looking at it. I don't think the reason I got the notification is because I'm logged in on PNS's and YouTube.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so here, I'm going to go ahead and hit the little bell.
If I log out and switch over.
Oh. First from Puerto Rico says, yes, subscribed with all notifications. That is good to know.
Be right back. I gotta go deliver a print job.
So Kyle, are you on federal court or county?
It's state superior court.
Oh, okay.
I have to go to. It's the county court, but it's the main one.
Cool.
I always just feel sick to my stomach every time I have to go.
I know.
Jury duty.
I know. Because somebody's not having a good day.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the past, I mean, they're pretty polite about stuff. At least the people that work there, because they know that no one wants to be there.
Right.
All right, now I double tapped the subscribe with the bell, so I got it on mine. I was subscribed too, but not with the bell. Interesting. You got to double tap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try something different here. Let's see.
Well, Sydney, since you got the pink shirt on and it looks so pretty, I'm gonna let you start it off.
Okay.
Because my dream maker is in the van where it should be, so I don't lose it and forget about it. Because I need it. It's like, don't want to live without it now.
I like it. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody today? How are you, Kyle?
I'm good. Good.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, everybody,
like
welcome to... Yes, I love the pink. Welcome, everybody, to our special edition of Dream Maker and Coffee. I can't even see if my shirt is backwards, but I have my Dream Maker shirt on today, which I love it so much. The rag company made these. I'm sure we'll get lots of questions about them. So everybody, as you guys know, Dreammaker officially launched, what was it, a week ago Thursday about? So it's been out for about a week and a half. It is going absolutely gangbusters. I'm not even sure if the rag company has any more in stock. I know a lot of our other distributors do, but it is crazy out there. What are your first initial reactions, Kyle?
Well, it's kind of crazy how the launch went. It was kind of like a hurry up and wait kind of thing. And we've had this idea to do Dreammaker and coffee for like a month now. Or longer, since the inception of Dreammaker. And due to all the things that have happened that have the pandemic involved in it, we had to wait, and finally the rag company was able to do the official launch, and then we could talk about this with you. So being on the Instagram and seeing all the comments, people are loving it for different reasons. And the enthusiasts, the professionals, and it's been a great rollout to everyone. And I'm excited to, I have FTWs, but I don't have those pink FTWs that you have. I'm excited to get some.
Yeah, we'll talk about those. So I thought it was very interesting too, because really I think the rollout definitely took a different turn than maybe we were expecting. We weren't expecting everybody to be so excited about it. And, everybody just placed orders right away. And then the feedback from it started coming back right away, which was awesome. So this is obviously the part where we talk about our details from the last couple of weeks. And, one of the biggest things for me personally is, most of I run a shop in my home garage. And, I work a lot with PNS on, trying out the new products and, kind of giving my feedback and things like that. And Dreammaker for me, how long has this been in kind of research and development? Probably 6-7 months or so, maybe 8. And, one of the biggest things is that I wasn't in using it when it first came out. It came out quite a bit before the Hidden Springs car show, and we were using it, and I just couldn't really loved the product, thought it was great. And funny, because I do a car show, so you would think I would be like, oh, this is so great, we can use this at the car show. And I think it is absolutely great for a car show. But for me, I struggled a little bit, honestly, with where the product was going to fit into the line. Just being totally transparent here. I loved the product, but I didn't know where it fit. I too had the concerns, like, is it like Bead Maker? Does it replace paint gloss? I mean, all those same questions that we're seeing went through my head. And the thing that I think is cool is, I think through the feedback that we've gotten, it's really matched my experience, which has been that even though I'm a detailer and I'm in a shop, I use Dreammaker on every single car. Whereas before, I couldn't figure out where it fit in. And I find that now I use it as my pre-delivery spray on every single car. I love it. Customers love it. It's that final wow, right? Like, it just kicks it up a level, almost like puts a filter on it. So I think from a detailer's perspective, that was one of my concerns going into Dreammaker, but now I see where it fits into a shop. I see where it fits into that final delivery right before the customer comes and picks it up. And, it's your final wipe down. It looks amazing. It's so easy to use. And so I've been really excited to see how it's kind of turned, and it's filled gaps that I don't even think were the original, gaps that we were looking to fill. So I think it's really cool how it can be used by everybody.
It's definitely a new category for us.
Yeah.
It wasn't unknown. That's what I feel like you were trying to describe. Like, where would this fit?
Yeah.
And as we met with the rag company team, because they were part of this inception of this product, and I said, okay, how do I explain this to people? sell me on it. Tell me what's
Yeah.
the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And we played with it on Dane's car, the one that they have in their
Mm-hmm.
heat car challenge, and the
Mm-hmm.
paint wasn't the greatest in
Yeah.
a spot. And we sprayed it on, let it soak in, wiped it, came back, and it was super glossy in that one corner of the hood of this BMW, and
Mm-hmm.
it was super smooth. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm seeing this now. Now,
Mm-hmm.
he said, first of all, they said this is more of an enthusiast product. I'm like, yeah, I totally
Mm-hmm.
see that. But
Mm-hmm.
as our Instagram has been blowing up with questions and comments, I see that it is this pre-delivery spray. Whether a customer is coming to your shop to pick up the
Mm-hmm.
car and you give it a final wipe down after coating is cured, or even a basic detail, it's
Mm-hmm.
doing a couple things. Well, not even your shop, but in their own garage if you're mobile, or in their driveway, or in the parking lot, wherever you are. It's giving it that last final pop, but
Yeah.
also the smell around the
Oh,
car.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like, when you go to Disneyland and you walk down the street and you smell everything
Mm-hmm.
that they purposely pump the
Yeah.
fragrance out so you come in. That's what it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
It totally changes the atmosphere around the vehicle and
Yep.
gives it this amazing smell.
And the smell
So
does linger for quite a while too, which is
yeah,
really nice. Yeah. Yeah, the smell is amazing. How would you describe it? Is it like a watermelon scent?
yeah, it's like it definitely is a watermelon scent, but it has
Hmm.
I don't know if it would call it a fruity watermelon scent.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely um, yeah, it's more of a true, not a true watermelon scent, if that makes sense. It's
Hmm.
not like
Yeah.
sticking your nose into a watermelon. It's definitely a very, very fun watermelon smell, and you like being around it. It's not
Hmm.
overwhelming. It's like bead maker or dynamic dressing, where you kind of
Hmm.
just totally,
Yeah.
it's like pleasure smell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
I love
that's
it.
that's what I do like about it.
I love it. I love it. So I saw in the comments, Mike said that he had a case of 12 and sold them all at his car meet, which is awesome. So if anybody has any comments or anything about Dreammaker, we'd love to hear them. That would be awesome.
Well,
So let's see. And then Juan, or I mean, first from Puerto Rico said, I hope that Juan Gonzalez from All Season Detailing will show it in October to those in Peru. I'm sure he will. And just in case, I did see this comment, and just in case you didn't see it, I'm sure you did, because I know you are on it on YouTube. I see that. So he did a video last week. TRC released a video with Juan going over Dreammaker in Spanish. So if you guys haven't checked that out, do. That is an awesome. Juan's been doing videos for the Rag Company, and they're great. So make sure you check those out. But yes, and I'm sure that you can request that he bring it, but I'm near positive that he will. So
well, it's
cool.
interesting. Mike brought up a good point that he sold all his Dreammaker. If you're going to go
Mhm.
to those car shows,
Yeah.
well, not car shows. If you're presenting to a car club, or you are part of a car club, this is
Hmm.
an excellent opportunity for you to be the
Hmm.
expert in your
Yeah.
area, and
Yep.
make a little bit of extra money
Hmm.
if you're able to go and buy it in a little larger quantity
Hmm.
and make a couple bucks here and there. That's what I'm going to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a customer that I went and did his vehicle last week, because we always talk about how we use Dreammaker. Well,
Hmm.
um, we did a maintenance on his wife's Lexus that we quoted a year ago, and he wants to wax it so bad. He pulls out tubs of wax. And he's like, "See, I want to touch it. I want to use it." And I said, "No, don't do it. You're going to slow down the performance of the coating.
Hmm.
But what you can do is you could use this product called Dreammaker." And I said, "I'm not going to give you my bottle, but here," I showed him where to get it, because I
Hmm.
didn't have any with me at the time. And I said, "What you can do is, you want to touch the car and it's clean, you just give it a nice mist, put it on on this microfiber and wipe it, and it'll glow, it'll pop. You'll feel like you're, doing, and he's not going to hurt the coating.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. He's not going to like, if he wipes Bead Maker on it 3 or 4 times a week, it's just going to be too much.
Yeah.
And so that's why I really like this. It gives us an option to say, hey, touch your car all you want. Here you go. Make it glossy.
Yeah, for sure. And so Kyle Camus actually asked that question, and this is a great question, is will it work with coatings or will it clog them? It absolutely works with coatings. So for those that haven't kind of heard how Dream Maker works, so it is a gloss amplifier. So it's got quite a bit of body to it. So you put it on the paint. It really only lasts about 24 to 48 hours, and then it kind of naturally burns off. So you're not going to hurt anything. You're not going to clog anything because it is going to naturally dissipate. So meaning if you leave behind streaks, which it's pretty hard to do with Dream Maker, but if you leave behind streaks, if you get it on something, it's going to naturally dissipate off of that surface. So that is the great part about it. And like Kyle was saying, if you need to give something to your customers to use that they can't mess anything up on their car, Dream Maker absolutely fits that bill, which is so cool. So cool.
Yeah, you're not gonna. I've done it in the sun. I've done it on old paint. I've done it on new paint. We've done it on coatings. We've done it on wax. We've done it, and it plays well with everything. And it just makes everything pop and glow and shine more. So for those people that, if your customers are doing like a super basic detail and you just want to impress them, so next time they're like, yeah, we're going to use you again, mist it on the hood, the fenders, the top edges, and just make it pop. You don't even have to do the entire car.
Yeah.
Because it's going to, that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing the areas that need to really show off. And unless it's like, they paid $1,500 for a coating and a correction, and you just want to blow their mind and the coating off, then do it. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So another great question from Aaron. I always apply Show and Shine paint gloss over Bead Maker to cut down on the dusting. Would you apply Dream Maker over that, or would it make a difference? So, Aaron, I have not had. I live in a dusty area, but our cars get dusty no matter what product we use. So I've never had, the insane dusting from Bead Maker, but I know what everybody's talking about, and so I always put paint gloss over all of them. So I have been putting over the Dream Maker, but I do both. So it just kind of depends on if you have that car that you want that extra pop. But chemically, Dream Maker is anti-static. So it should work in the same way as paint gloss. Because we haven't gone through our super dusty period here, I haven't been able to firsthand test that the way that I did paint gloss with Bead Maker. But I would assume that it's going to work the same way. So you can just choose whichever one you want in that specific instance. I think they're both going to kind of achieve that for you.
We just got a text from Mr. Phillips, and actually it's pretty nice insight. The reason why Sydney and I think it only lasts 24 to 48 hours is because we don't get to see those cars 24 or 48 hours later. He's saying the shine is actually lasting significantly longer than that. Okay. And depending on the area, but some of the tests they have, it's lasting a lot longer. So that's good to know, because I when we used it at the Quail, or we only saw it for a few days later on my customers' cars, I haven't seen it much later. I probably should put some on the hood of my van, because that's something that I would see every day. And but it's hard on white, and white cars, you're not going to get the depth as you would on a different color car. And every vehicle I own is white. My van, my truck, my car.
Yeah, I use it on my own vehicle all the time, but I get my car dirty too fast that I can't really judge that. So I don't know. I get it dirty too fast.
But it's lasting. Now, Dream Maker, another question that's come up a lot is protection. Does it have protection in it? And is it going to clog up like you mentioned? And the answer is no, it doesn't have protection like bead maker. But it is, a product that is sitting on the surface. So will it provide a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
I'd say because it exists and it's there, it is providing some protection. But not in the same way as a wax or a sealant would be. It does have slickness to it. It does bead, but it is not a product that I would use as a standalone protection.
Right.
It's only would be a topper, and that's what I mean by protection. Use bead maker or ceramic coat or ultra coat polish or paint sealant, whatever your favorite protection is. And Dream Maker should be the top gloss amplifier.
Yep. Okay, so
Sydney, you got to answer the question at the top next after this one.
Yes, I just thought that. Okay, so you take this one then.
All right. I have dynamic dressing and shine all. What is the design purpose of each? Okay. So dynamic is our hyper concentrate. It is very dilutable from crazy gloss at full strength all the way to a nice 4-to-1 is where most the dilution I use of dynamic. If I want something even thinner, I've gone to 5-to-1, but most of the time I stay at a 4-to-1. That's why our dynamic in a pint is ready to use at 4-to-1, because it is awesome at that dilution for tires, for plastics, for interior trim, for rubber, vinyl, all those areas. It works great, and believe it or not, on some of those satin wheels that are beginning to, we'll say, dry out. It will rehydrate them. Spray it on the wheels, let it soak in, buff it down with a microfiber towel, and enjoy a rehydration of that dried out powder coating. And it'll give it some depth and darken them up a little. And so dynamic is very, very versatile in that way. You could dilute it even more, or you could leave it and have a very, very shiny surface. It's all around, and it smells great. Now, Shine All is more of an exterior dressing. It can be used on tires, wheel wells, and trim, and it's dilutable, but not to the same extent as dynamic. I've diluted it 1-to-1. And that's about as far as I wanted to take it. The type of silicone it is, it doesn't look good if you dilute it too much. But it's a great dressing. It's kind of my all-around dressing. So I take care of a fleet of vehicles, about 7 vehicles every other Saturday. And all the tires always get always get Shine All. It's kind of my everyday usage dressing for tires. If I have something a little bit more high end, something that I want to, spend the extra money on, then I use dynamic. And because it is a higher gloss, people ask for a higher gloss, that's what I give them. And then an interesting thing, and I'll add this in because we're talking about dressings, is our Wipe and Shine. It's the dressing we use when we ceramic coat cars, because I don't want to spray any dressing around the vehicle while it's curing. I can put the gel on an applicator, dress the tire, and know that I'm not flinging it everywhere, and I feel comfortable doing that. And Sydney's the one that taught me that trick, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. So, is Island Shine
different than full dynamic?
Yes. So what I've said is, or what I've heard, as far as Island Shine versus Shine All, is Shine All and Odyssey are the better version of Island Shine. So I don't talk about Island Shine as much anymore. I know it's a fan favorite, from over the years. But Island Shine has its its upgrades, and that's why we use Odyssey or Shine All now. And so if you love Island Shine, keep using it. But we've started going in the direction of those dressings because they work well for us. Now, full dynamic dressing, if you got it, love it, use it, but it's gold right now. It is gold. And our distributors know that we're trying our best to get it out. But it's one of those products that has become harder for us to get the raw materials for. So be patient with your distributor, please, because it's not their fault. They want it just as bad as you do. And we are trying to fill that as soon as we get all the ingredients we need for dynamic. And I have my own 5-gallon of it, and I am treating it like, I mean, my guys have to ask permission to use dynamic. They can't just go and fill the bottle because it's that good for me.
Yep. All right. What is your favorite towel to use with Dreammaker? This is such a great question. So this is the pink FTW. So this towel is a towel that the Rag Company made specifically for use with Dreammaker. So they've had these towels before for glass and bead maker. They worked great. And what we have found is that Dreammaker, without being cliche, really shines when using the FTW. So it really likes the short loop pile. You can use other towels, but we're just saying that you'll get the best performance out of Dreammaker with the FTW towels. So they came out with them in pink to match it, which is awesome. I obviously adore these towels because they're pink. But
hey, real quick, guys, can I interrupt you?
Oh yeah, sure.
I got a special guest that just popped up. I want to bring in real quick. And
then
you
really?
can talk about that.
Awesome.
I wonder who it could be.
Oh, look, it's Gordon McCall. Good morning, Gordon. How are you?
Good morning, Sydney. Hey, Kyle. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Thanks for joining us.
I got goosebumps.
What a treat.
All of a sudden, Gordon popped up.
I know. What a treat to have you join us for Dreammaker and Coffee this morning.
Well, thanks for having me on. And I'm going to make a quick suggestion. Have you guys ever thought about doing maybe like a cocktails and Dreammaker after 5 o'clock thing?
Yeah, cocktail hour. That's actually a good idea. I know. It's a little early.
Well, I mean, Gordon has these amazing ideas. It's going to get us in trouble. We're going to start asking Bob for a different venue for this.
Cocktail hour. That's super fun.
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, so great that you joined us this morning, Gordon. So why don't you tell us how kind of the Gordon McCall's event, Dreammaker, became a collaboration?
Well, as you guys know, Bob Phillips and I go way back. I go way back with Rennie Doyle as well. With PNS, it's 30 plus years or so. I was in the detail industry for quite a while, never really left it. It's still something I really enjoy doing. Nothing to me is more satisfying than detailing a car or a motorcycle. So it's still a big part of my life. But in talking with Bob and Rennie, I thought, I'm at a stage where I've been around show cars my entire career. And I just thought, what about something that was maybe a little more specifically geared towards the show car world? And with what you guys do at our event in August, it just seemed like the perfect storm. Everything just lined up to where let's get a product that's geared towards what we're doing here, which is not taking a car that's hammered that needs to be detailed to make it look right. It's all about making something that already looks really good look better, and that's what Dreammaker's all about. Yeah.
So I'll show the bottle again here. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, but so it has the McCalls on there. So everybody at your show this year got a bottle of this in their bag. And so what was kind of their reaction, and what was the feedback that you got on the product?
The feedback, Sydney, has been really amazing because it's, as we all know, there's a lot of products on the market. There's no shortage of products on the market. As far as products that do what they say they're going to do, when used properly, that's a whole other story. And the feedback I've been getting is how tremendous this stuff, how easy it is to work with. And I think that's critical. You know, you don't want something that you're chasing, fogging for, you know, flipping towels, you know, doing that whole, right. So Dreammaker is exactly what it says it is. And actually, you know, I've been following the reviews, and there's something I'd like to clarify, because it seems to come up often, which is that Dreammaker offers zero protection. I've heard that kind of over and over again. And I distinctly recall time spent with Bob and his brother Dave, the chemist, on what can we do to add some protection to Dreammaker, which it has. It's not Beadmaker. We don't claim that it is. It's an enhancement. It's a gloss enhancement at a very high level that does offer some protection as well. So I like to take that off the table, that it offers zero protection, because that's just not an accurate claim. The response, Sydney, has been amazing. You know, it's one of those things, and personally, I've used a ton of it now. I've got a bunch of old motorcycles and several cars and all the rest of that, and I haven't found anything that I've stumbled on that is like, oh geez, okay, you don't hit the chrome with it, or don't hit the glass with it, or don't make sure you don't get it on the rubber, or it's just not like that. I mean, this product, you spray this stuff, you start wiping, it works on everything, and it does bring out the gloss. There's no doubt about it.
It's amazing on chrome. Amazing on chrome.
Yeah, and glass. I mean, you know, glass as well. It's you know, you don't spend any extra time going back over getting streaks out. It's a one pass affair. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I have a funny story from the quail this year. I was working on, there was a gentleman that had, and I think it might have been the green Porsche. There might have been a couple Porsches, and they were parked under a tree. And all of a sudden, all these little white things were falling all over the car. And it was so funny, because this gentleman ran over and he grabbed me and he said, "Can you please clean my cars up, and can you watch them over the next couple hours?" And I said, "Absolutely, no problem." And it was so funny, because I started walking over with my bucket, and he said, "Now, I don't know if you've heard about this stuff, but I got it at the Motorworks Revival the other night, and I'd really like you to use this on my car." And I said, "No problem. I've got my own bottle. I'll use that." It was super funny, because he was like, "I don't know what this is, but I would like you to use this bottle." I said, "No problem." Anyway, it was super funny.
Sydney. Well, you know, I'm going to take a wild guess. Did he have a German accent by chance?
I think he did.
So if it was,
he was wearing a very cool suit.
There you go. So it sounds like it was the Irish Green Roof, RUF. Porsche, which there were two of them there. So that was Alois Roof, and those are his cars. Those are his creations. And I saw him using Dreammaker on the car at the end of the day before he put them back in the truck.
He was very excited about it. He was very excited about it. Yeah, it was really funny.
He and his wife Estonia are amazing people, and they build incredible cars. If people aren't familiar with the Roof Porsches, they're crazy.
I loved that green Porsche. That thing was amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Porsches in green are not something you really think about, you know, immediately. And years ago, my first Porsche 911 was Irish green, the same color. And my friends at the time, I was like 19 years old. This is when they weren't worth much. You know, if you worked hard, you could afford one. Anybody could, right? So my first 911 was this Irish green car, and my friends were like, "Why do you have a British racing green Porsche? What is up with this green 911?" Well, it turns out, and I didn't know this at the time, but it turns out Irish green was Ferdinand Porsche's favorite color. So that's why Alois Roof on all of his personal cars, they're Irish green. So there's a funny little story behind. Actually, there's a funny little story. As both you and Kyle and the entire Detail Mafia team has learned, there's a story behind every car that's time.
That was such a great event, and it was fun to I thought it was so fun to wipe the cars all down with Beadmaker on the Thursday, and then Friday morning go back with the Dreammaker. That to me was just like, wow, this is such a winning combo. It was so amazing. Those cars, it was kind of funny, because we talk about how it gives you a level up, right? But then all of a sudden, all these cars were all on the same level. But to look out over the field that Friday morning after all of the cars had Dreammaker applied, it was amazing. It was really amazing to step back and kind of take that all in.
It is incredible when you look at that many different finishes. No two finishes, as you both know better than anybody, no two
Right.
finishes are really the same, right? So
Hmm.
I think particularly in the show world, definitely no two finishes are the same. And it's amazing that a product is equally applicable to all finishes. I
Yeah.
find that to be a real bonus.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into the bag of tricks and figure out, okay, what do I
Right.
need to mix with what to make this work? It's
Yep.
like you said, Sydney, bead maker when you've got the time, and then
Hmm.
freshen things up with dream maker, and it's an
Yeah.
amazing combo. It really is.
It really is. Yeah. Yep. And we get that question a lot is, does one replace the other? And no, they really, I mean, they work together beautifully. And like you say, if you don't have time to do the bead maker, just, Dream Maker works great on its own,
Yeah.
but the two, it definitely doesn't hurt either one. They work together absolutely beautifully.
Yeah, and the issue with coatings, absolutely zero problems there. A couple of years ago, you all had coated my daily driver during car week, which was a special treat. And I take pretty good care of just about everything. It's just kind of my nature. It's all of our natures, right? Where it's in our DNA to take care of stuff.
Yeah.
I've been using Dreammaker on that car now since we came out with it, and it's amazing the glide that the towels have over that paint. It's really remarkable. It
Yes.
doesn't just shine. It's got that
Yep.
feel as well. I love it when you can throw a towel on a fender and just watch it go.
Yeah.
Just
Yes. Yes.
takes off and
Yes.
hits. Next thing you
Yep.
know, it hits the floor and it's now a wheel towel. But anyway,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we were actually just talking about the towels. So do you have some of the pink FTW towels? Or are you still
I
waiting on
don't.
some?
I've heard all about them. I noticed the rag company. Our friends at the rag company are offering that kit, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to go online and check it out. They look great.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. So these are available at the Rag Company, and I believe PNS will be bringing in
Oh,
all three colors of the FTW, which is cool. I believe I heard they're on their way.
okay.
So the very first batch that made it into the US went straight to your event. So
Okay.
that's why it took a while for the Rag Company to get
Got
some more
it.
back in stock because they all went straight there.
Mhm.
So that was fun. So those will be available everywhere soon, but you can obviously get some at the Rag Company. But
Now,
They're gonna have to change the name of the FTW from For the Window to like
I
For the
know.
Win or something
Yeah.
like that
there
because
you
it's
go.
not For the Window
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, I was going to ask. So, is that a towel with a little bit of an attitude? Because FTW is. There's another application for that.
Right. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
that though. So it's for the Windows. Okay, I got
Right.
it now. All
Yep.
right.
It's for the Windows. Yep.
Okay.
So it was originally made for the Windows, and then a little while after the towel came out, when it was blue,
Mm-hmm.
they realized how great it worked with Beadmaker. So then they have the orange one.
Yeah.
And then through the testing of Dreammaker, we found that this really is the towel that works flawlessly with Dreammaker. So
Tremendous.
then they came out with it in pink, which is super fun. So
It's amazing to me, kind of being old school in this detailing arena. The towel options today.
yeah.
And I spent some time with you at the Rag Company a few months back.
Yeah.
What an incredible crew there! I mean, just those guys are amazing. But just the
Yes.
quality of and the variety of towels. It was diapers and terry cloth bar mops,
Right.
and if you got lucky,
Yeah.
a really nice Pima cotton towel to take carnauba wax off. But
Right.
you ended up
Yeah.
spending so much time kind of working against yourself, trying to get products off of what it was that you were spiffing, right? And now, I mean, with the towel technology that's there, the products actually are used, as intended, and you're not wrestling, using the proper towels. It makes such a difference. It's amazing.
It does.
The
Yeah.
technology in microfiber, not just on towels, but like applicators. I remember when I was 13 years old, when I first started detailing, taking one of my dad's old cotton T-shirts, cutting it up, putting it in the tub of paste wax, and going to town with it. There was no applicators. Now we have these amazing little sponges,
Oh, I know.
and it's made a huge difference.
You know, it's funny what Kyle, what was happening simultaneously, at least I was noticing, and this goes back back to the 80s. When microfibers, when they were first introduced, they weren't very good. They weren't very thick. You know, you had to usually fold 2 or 3 towels together, so you weren't leaving fingerprints behind. What I found interesting, there was a parallel track. There were several things going on in the detail world. Towel technology was one. All of a sudden, the battle of the chemicals started getting a little more proficient. And that's when sandpapers started to develop as well. It's when the optical sandpaper was getting discovered. Up until then, you know, 1500 grit was pretty much the limit. 2000 was kind of a newfangled, oh my God, what is this? Then show up the optical 3000, 4000, 5000. I mean, you're practically getting a shine out of a new paint job without even touching it with compound. But also that's when clay came out. And it's been really amazing to see the technology that has appeared in the detail world. You know, it's not just your basic stuff. There are so many specific products now. And I think that's what's kind of fun about DreamMaker is it falls into one of those specific categories. You know, would you use it on your 20-year-old SUV? No, that's not what it's made for. You know, and I just think it's impressive to see the technology that's going on. I know Dave Phillips stays real busy in the lab, and the rag company folks are constantly innovating and coming up with new ideas and new designs. It's pretty cool. It's a neat industry, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, thank you for you know, bringing it to your show, and I know that was a huge success, and it was so fun this year to have it there, and that was just awesome. So we have a couple questions that Gordon, you are absolutely welcome to help out with.
Okay.
So how long do we wait before applying DreamMaker to a car that has just had BeadMaker applied?
It's a good question, right? Because you got to let the BeadMaker set a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So what's your preferred time frame on that, Sydney?
I always wait. I wait at least 2 to 3 hours because like you say, we kind of want to make sure that BeadMaker gets its cure time in. You know, BeadMaker can take anywhere from 2 to 8 hours. I find that it's pretty easy to work with after 2 hours. I don't have, you know, any major change. So, but I wait at least 2 hours. So if I personally, on my own vehicle, I tend to wash my car at night. So I will usually wash my car, apply BeadMaker, and then the next morning, if I want to kind of have that crazy pop, I'll do DreamMaker the next morning. On the customers' cars, I do use it as a pre-delivery spray on every car that I detail. And so generally speaking, about 2 to 3 hours has passed since I've applied the BeadMaker to when I do DreamMaker. So I think, me, you know, that's
being mobile, I have to do it differently. You know, we have all these different aspects of our industry. And so for me, you know, we'll start with the outside of a vehicle to go to the interior. So I'm only able to let it sit about an hour outside in the sun before I need to get moving. And so, you know, I've known and I've seen how BeadMaker cures over time. But I got to get going. So I'll give it a light wipe down of DreamMaker before the customer comes out. Not only they get the beautiful smell of both products mixed together, watermelon and mango, but it pops, and then I got to get on my way. So I would say for optimal protection, waiting that long, but sometimes we have to get moving. And so
I can't imagine that it inhibits the BeadMaker curing in any significant way. And like Kyle said, if you have the ability to wait, do, but you know, if you're in a hurry and you got to go, just, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, you know,
I'd say give it at the shortest, give it an hour.
That sounds like good advice. You know, just yesterday, I noticed somebody just wrote in and said, "Good morning from Wyoming." My wife just got back from Wyoming yesterday, and I was cleaning her car up for her. So on her arrival, she had a clean car. And I had used DreamMaker because the car's really in good shape to begin with. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to give a little DreamMaker experiment here, keep the experiment going. And it's kind of fun because I went to the airport, picked her up, brought her back. And, you know, I've got a little trick that I love doing, which is right after you've finished prepping a car, and even after using DreamMaker, it's funny how you can take a thick, dry microfiber towel and just literally hit the windshield, get the, just, you don't have to use a product every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and I was just kind of curious, does Dreammaker hold up in that way? And sure enough, it was just like a final wipe after I'd applied the Dreammaker, and this was after, putting 20 miles on the car or whatever. Again, not really its intended purpose, but part of a test. It's not just for the moment of, so I really like that idea of mixing the bead maker, applying bead maker first, coming back a couple hours later, hitting it for a final pop with Dream Maker, and then going from there. So
all right, so we have another question. This is a great one. So is there any other purpose when it's applied to glass besides as a cleaner? Like, does it help repelling debris and bugs acid?
Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it? I think we, in all of our dreams, we would love a product that does nothing more than not let the bugs splatter on the windshield.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's just a reality that occurs. As far as getting the bug off, it certainly does help when you've got a product on the windshield to help defer that, for sure.
Yep.
Sydney, imagine this. Imagine you are doing your full detail, and you took Clarity Cream and you polished the windows and got the windows just looking amazing. I haven't tried it yet, but I mean, if you put a little Dream Maker on those windows, how it'll change the gloss of the windows. You have a fresh, polished window. So that's an experiment I'm going to have to try now, because Clarity Cream has kind of become a staple in my business.
Yeah, it's a great product.
Yeah, I actually do use Dream Maker on glass a lot, just because I do, in the final wipe down, I just kind of go over the glass, and it really does. It kind of, in the same way that it works on chrome, it just makes it, I'm not even sure that glossy is the right word, but just that pop and clarity. Yeah. It really looks really nice, kind of the same way that it does to chrome. It just makes it look crisp. Really crisp. So I do like it.
You can't deny also when you do wipe a windshield off that's had Dream Maker applied to it. It is easier. There's no doubt about it. It's a smoother finish, especially if you've Clarity Creamed it as well. I find on my motorcycle helmets, I've been using Dream Maker like crazy on my windscreen on my motorcycle helmets. And it's both inside and out. And it just, I don't know that I can make the claim that the windscreens don't fog up anymore. That's quite a claim that a lot of products try to make. But it's a little bit of a stretch, though, because it's got a lot to do with condensation in the air and all these things you really can't control. But just for a quick helmet clean, I haven't found anything better than Dream Maker, and that's just an unintended consequence of the product, Not to mention the bike itself. I mean, Dream Maker works so well on motorcycles because you don't have to worry about it hitting the seat, or a little overspray gets on, a rubber fuel line. Right? It's not an issue. Everything, it dries clear. It's you don't see it.
That's awesome. That's a great point. So we have Dead Pedal says, I can't wait to try Dream Maker out on my 95 Ranger. The paint is pretty rough, almost a satin sheen to it now because of Mars and swirling, but it's a work truck. Try it out. That's the kind of the beauty of the product, is that if your paint's in rough shape, I can't promise that it's going to make it look brand new, but the beauty of the product is you can literally use it on anything. So, play with it, have fun, see what happens. But that's the great part, is you can literally use it on any paint condition. And it's, going to be, it's going to smell good and be nice to use.
Well, but
so one of the vehicles, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Kyle, but let's suggest to Dead Pedal that they do themselves a favor and
maybe polish it first.
Maybe figure out how to cut that paint first. A little paint correction would go a long way. And it sounds like if you've got decent thickness to begin with, what a great learning experience. Cut your paint, polish it up, correct it, and then go after it with some Dream Maker.
Yes, he says he's not expecting total renewal, but he feels like it'll look better than it does now.
Don't want to disappoint
when we were
at
Gordon's show, and we were wiping down, was it the prototype or serial number 1 of the Ford Bronco?
Oh yeah.
I was kind of scared to use a little Dream Maker on it, because the guy told me, he's like, I don't want this thing shiny.
Right.
And So we used Epic on it, and I didn't tell anyone, but I started wiping down the inside with some Dream Maker, and it was some old paint, and it made the interior metal panel shiny. So I wasn't going to do it on the hood, and maybe someone else wiped it down later before the show, but that thing got cleaned up, and I know Dream Maker definitely made Carol Shelby's Bronco look nice.
Yeah,
I didn't. What's he gonna do? It's gonna go away eventually.
Exactly. I haven't heard too many people complain about whatever the vehicle is looking too shiny. I mean, I get it with Bronco number one. It's an unrestored. But what's interesting about it, that's not the original paint on that car. It was painted many years ago. Yeah, so it's just old paint. It's not the original. Yeah. So no harm done. I really got a kick out of watching the two of you wrestle with the electrified Gateway Bronco. In the back of our hangar. That was quite a. That was quite something. That was. I guess it was tire dressing that had flung up on the paint. What kind of any guesses on just how nasty that tire dressing was that it stained?
Oh man, and for me, I think it was a good learning experience.
A cluster of many problems.
But I think there was a lesson to be learned here that I think is really important. So, because we always joke about the disconnect between body shops and detailers, and I was able to speak with the painter on the phone because the gentleman that was there was like, I don't know what to do about this, and so he put me on the phone with the painter, and I think what happened is they obviously used a very high silicone, greasy tire dressing, but he had cut the Bronco when he was done. He did his rotary and compound and everything. But he never put any protection, never sealed the paint back up. So left it kind of open and never put any type of sealant or wax or anything to seal the paint up. So when that tire dressing flung up the side, the paint just sucked it up.
It was ready
as its protection, right? And then it was like then it was just absorbed in there. So we had to just, recut and polish the whole car. And then we obviously coated it in Bead Maker and Dream Maker, and then it looked fantastic. But
whoever did the buffing didn't fully buff out the sanding marks. They did enough to kiss the top layers of the whatever they sanded it to, but not enough to dig them out. And at certain angles, Sydney and I were on our hands and knees looking up at the door, and you could totally see the sanding marks, but looking down, you couldn't. So that was, and then we were like, okay, we'll make it look good for the show. And then he says, it's going to be a quail. I'm like, oh, great.
Then we
break out the compound.
It's going to be outside in the sun.
It's going to be outside in the sun. So we got to get it to looking presentable for the quail. And it just more than that. More and more.
You did more than that. And it's amazing, Sydney, you'd mentioned the disconnect between body shops and detailers. When I think back on my days in the business, that is something that I really tried and succeeded at actually creating relationships with kind of the best painters in the business, because we actually just complement each other's work, is what goes on. And I'd love to see that divide brought together a little bit further, because it's amazing what good detailers can do to make painters work. Painters just run out of time. I get it. When you've got a car, I guarantee you there's hundreds of hours invested in that Bronco as an example.
What do you
expect?
The paint job was beautiful. The paint job was absolutely beautiful.
It was all there, right?
It
was all there. It just needed to be finished. And that's where, they get to a point where it's like, okay, we're done with it. We don't have any more time to invest in this. That's when you bring in the professional detailer that makes that time, those extra, I'm not kidding, those extra few hours, not days, months, years, right? Those extra few hours just make the world of difference. And now the painter's a hero for the work that you've done, Now, granted, it was the work they set you up with as far as laying the paint down nicely, the prep work was done right, et cetera. I think there's a real opportunity there for people in the business to reach out, find out who your the best painters are, the best shops in town, You don't want to go to the
Absolutely.
scuff and shoot guys. Like, you leave that alone.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
always going to be what it's going to be. Go to the nicer
Yeah.
shops and establish a rapport.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is they can't typically afford to have a full-time detailer there.
Right.
It's not the best environment for, I think you both agree, for final detailing.
Yep.
To get that car out of there, even before they
Yep.
deliver it to the customer, you know,
Yep.
it's a win-win. The body shop is a hero when they're done, and then the detailer picks up a new customer along the way. You know, it's absolutely. I think it should be part of the business model. I really do.
Yes. Yes, for sure. And I know, you know, in my area, I've really tried to help close that gap. And you know, I'm friends with a lot of the painters here in town, some of the car builders, and it is fun, and it is, you know, what's interesting is for me to go into their shop and see how they do work, and for them to come into my world and see. And I mean, it could not be more different, but their level of excitement to see the difference, you know, at the end of when I'm done with it is just awesome. So I absolutely agree. I encourage, you know, detailers to go out there and meet the car builders, meet the body shop, you know, the car painters in your area. And because it's, you guys speak the same language, and you can both be impressed by what each other does. And it really is, it's an awesome relationship.
That's a really good point, Sydney. I think also there's a little bit of a fear factor involved with body shops and detailers in general. Most body shops, when they think of detailing, just their mind goes to silicone overspray.
Yeah. Yep.
Completely fish-eyeing and ruining their work, right? So, you know, they really are two environments that should be separated. And
for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I think
Very
as
good.
the industry continues to progress, that's gonna, some of those issues are gonna weed themselves out as the old school body guy with the rotary is slowly being replaced by someone with a dual action. It's happening. I'm seeing it. Rupes has done a great job of educating the body shop world, and it's getting better. But when I go to body shops, I still see guys taking a bottle, slinging product on the side of it, and half of the compound on the ground. And you talk to the owner of the body shop, and they hate it, but they can't change it because that lead guy is so good with the rotary and so fast. They don't care that they're wasting, you know, half a bottle of product all over the ground.
You can always.
But it's how it is.
You can always, you know, it's not great to be judgmental, but there's certain circumstances where you can't avoid it, and that is when you see the detailer with the apron on, they've got more compound right around the waistline than the car does. You know, that racing stripe that goes around the perimeter of the shop. But you know, Kyle, to your point, it really is the speed. You know, they've got a book they're working out of. The book gives them 6.2 hours for that job. They've already spent 6.1 on the job, and it's got to go. So it's got to get cut and buffed, and it's I think there's a lot of room for improvement there. But you're right. There's great industry efforts being made towards that, and you know, it all comes back down to Dreammaker also, because so many of these cars that are done at body shops, if they could just take those last few moments, you know, and just spiff it up. It's you want to give it that final, you know, it's what the customer sees. You know, the customer they don't want to see their car. It's kind of like sausage making. You know, I hate to use that expression, but you know, there's some things you don't want to see the process. You want to see the finished result, and that's certainly where Dreammaker falls into place.
Yes, for sure.
Jose asks, what is the difference between Dreammaker and paint gloss?
Yeah. So Dreammaker is paint like gloss enhancement, right? So it's going to bring out that gloss. It's going to, you know, make the paint pop. Paint gloss is it's a quick detailer. It's a true quick detailer. It is a waterless wash, so you can actually use it on mildly dirty paint, whereas Dreammaker, you want the paint to be perfectly clean when you use it. Paint gloss is going to do some extra things that Dreammaker doesn't. So it can be used as a clay lube. We use it as an anti-static spray when vacuuming. So paint gloss is kind of a Swiss Army knife that can be used for a lot of different things. I will use paint gloss. I actually keep a bottle in all of my personal vehicles for quick cleanups. I mean, you can even use it if somebody gets sunscreen on the door panel. You can use paint gloss. You can use it on leather if something spills. You can use it on bird droppings. If you get sap on the car, any kind of quick need to clean up, things like that. Obviously, it's also an anti-static. So it just has a lot of roles that paint gloss plays, whereas Dream Maker is your final spray, gloss booster, gloss enhancement, send it type product. So they are completely different. But again, the beauty of them is they work awesome together. So you go to a car show, hypothetical, you've driven 20 miles, the car now has a layer of dust from the road. You wipe the whole car down with paint gloss, then you apply the Dream Maker to make the paint pop.
There you go. I noticed
exactly
Dead Pedal just wrote us back. I think there's a great example. Dead Pedal, do us a favor and send us before and afters. I know you're going to paint the truck anyway, but what a great experiment. So thanks for sharing that with us. And Sydney, I think you've come up with a new nickname for Dream Maker. I think it's going to be affectionately known as Send It.
Send it. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Just send it. Just send it.
That's the name of another product we're thinking of.
There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I didn't fully understand it at first, when it took some time with Anthony and Levi. And now my detailer brain is going crazy. Like, what can I do with it? Now that I've seen it in action, and I'm sure we're going to have detailers that are going to be telling us, hey, I use it for this, or different ways of finding usage. That's the amazing thing about detailers is we always find a way to make something work and to solve a problem. We've done that forever. Like Gordon said, back with our microfibers and our cotton towels back in the day. Now, detailers coming into the industry in the last couple of years have a huge benefit that all the detailers before, Rennie and many others in the industry, had to fight with. And now we have these amazing products, make our life a lot easier, makes us more profitable, and allows us to be the experts in the area. And so I am really happy that we have products like Dream Maker and Bead Maker and Playmaker. All these innovations made our lives easier as detailers.
Absolutely, Kyle. And you know what's interesting? There's a great evolution that you've just touched on of products over the years, hands down. I also think in the detailing world, one of the most important things that anybody can do regarding their business is to manage their time better. Time management is a huge factor in the detailing world. I mean, products are clearly very important, but time management really is key. And Dream Maker is one of those products that helps with that time management. Think of a car that you've spent, a show car you've done for a customer. The car's ready, but they haven't picked it up. It's still in your shop. It's been there for a few days now. So instead of taking a dry towel to it, you hit the flat surfaces with Dream Maker. It takes you minutes, like literally 3 minutes. Now the car looks the way it did 3 days ago when you finished it. It's just another application, and I think there's a zillion of those in the detailing world. But I really think, and I think Rennie would agree with us here, that time management is a huge component of how you helps you succeed, I should say. It doesn't make you succeed, but it certainly helps you succeed when you're managing your time as best you can. It's a true expression. Time is money. It affects your revenue.
And that's a good point because prior to Dream Maker, I used to like to do that kind of final wipe down with Bead Maker right before the customer came, because you wanted to get the joy of that pop, right? And the slickness and the gloss. But then you kind of flirted with disaster on the whole, then they're driving before it was cured. And then obviously it would attract dust and all of that. Sure. And so that is so great now that we have Dream Maker to do that final wipe down. because we don't have to worry about any of that. And so it is so great that you can do that 5 minutes before they come. And that's really nice. And that you've got that, and like Kyle says, the smell, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got that aromatherapy going on for your customers. So it's so great to put all that together. And it's definitely not a area that I necessarily thought would be part of Dream Maker. And it's been such a fun, I even look forward to that moment of being able, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it gets me in the mode of like, yes, this, the car looks awesome. Everything smells great. Everybody, life is perfect. So, I love that. And I use it as the final wipe down on the interior as well. So many of these cars now have, which I don't know why they do that, but those chrome handles inside or that, they're wrapped, but it works fine on nav screens, on all the piano black or, shiny wood grain on the center consoles, the dash panel. It's great as a quick final wipe on all those things too, because you're not going to leave any streaking or, it's not going to matter if people touch it right away. So same kind of thing. I use it as a quick final wipe on the inside too.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Sydney. And I also think it's, I'm surprised this question wasn't asked because it seems to be an important component of any finished product is how is it when it comes to dust attraction or pollen attraction, and what I'm finding in the use, and like I said, I've used it on motorcycles, cars, daily drivers, you name it. I'm finding the dust attraction to be at a very, very minimum, considering there's a product on the paint. It's just the side of no product on the paint in terms of attracting dust. And that's a biggie, it really is. I think it's frustrating when you spend a lot of time, polishing a car up, getting it to look right, and all of a sudden you've put a product on it that acts as a magnet. That's tricky. I'm not finding that to be the case with Dream Maker. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And then you brought up a point earlier that I wanted to touch on is so cool about what it leaves behind. So if I've had a car in my shop and the windows might get a little bit of dust on it because I've got my garage door open and there's air blowing, that's unavoidable.
Right.
You can just take the towel and dust the window off, dust the paint off, and it just glides, right?
Yeah.
So it leaves behind that layer that I feel confident in just,
dry towel.
Yeah. And it just, like you say, it absolutely just glides across the glass or the paint. And that is really, really cool. So I'm sure that makes a big difference when you have, a lot of vehicles parked, in your warehouse and whatnot, that it just kind of gives you that confidence to be able to, just kind of dust them off.
Totally. Yep. It's all good.
Very good. Well,
this has been great.
Yes. Kyle has jury duty today.
Oh,
so
fun.
yes, good time. So we are at our time limit, but Gordon, thank you so much for joining us today. Such a great surprise. We always appreciate all of your wisdom and feedback on the products and stuff, and involving the Detail Mafia and PNS. It's just been so fun to work with you, and we appreciate you taking time out of your very early morning. Next time we'll try to do a cocktail hour.
It's absolutely my pleasure, Sydney.
And
thanks again for all of your work and Kyle's work, the entire Detail Mafia. It's amazing what you all did in August. Just incredible. I don't know if anybody's counting cars, but you certainly prepped a ton of cars. It's really impressive to see what you can do. It's neat. Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. Very good. Well, thank you so much. You guys have an awesome rest of your Monday and an awesome week. And thank you everyone for joining us. And we will see you on the next Speed Maker and Coffee.